What's up, everybody, and welcome to this week's Top 3. Today, we're going to be taking a look at 3 of the latest collector's releases to the market. These are some great decks from some big names within the community, as well as a really newcomer to it who I think is going to make some big waves going forward.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Me too, man. This is going to be a really fun one. I'm really interested in seeing what everyone's thoughts are on these 3 decks this week. But before we jump into it, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel.
And don't forget to ring the bell.
Steve, this has been an interesting week with just the way Kickstarter went this week. We'll see how things come out with this deck. I think this is the shining light in the week. This week's top 3 are going to be 3 great decks, huge fan favorites, no doubt about it. You ready to hear what number 3 is, man?
There.
So number 3 this week is the Fulton's Clip Joint Fog Edition. This deck is a 10th anniversary of the original clip joints. It's printed by USPCC on their premium crush stock and is part of a 2,500 deck print run, which retails for $17.
Yeah.
Good, let's check this thing out. So obviously with a name like Fog, you would expect this to be a white or a gray. A lot of the photographs that went along with this deck were actually very white looking, but the deck is in fact a very light gray. And I always love the subtle work that Brad attaches to his tuck boxes. They have a very nice embossing to it, which adds a little bit of texture. And the one thing you may have noticed on the bottom too is he uses the name Cambric, which is the original name for the B stock, or aka the premium stock now. We have a really nice gray recolor to the original back design of the Fulton clip joint here, which, dude, that gray is just like a perfect like Crayola medium gray.
Yeah, I mean, I love this color way better than the first one. He did a really good job picking this color out.
I agree, man. It really looks good. It pops well. The contrast is perfect but subtle there. Obviously, being a USPCC deck, this thing handles and fans like a dream. Diving into the deck itself, we have the matching Jokers here, which have a really cool stylized kind of wrought iron-esque cat figures there. That's actually one of my favorite parts of the clip joint decks, is that wrought iron feel that runs throughout the entire deck, even in that Ace of Spades there, and those little customized pips throughout all of the number cards.
Yeah, it's interesting how you say wrought iron. It's, it's definitely that filigree feel, but filigree is more feminine, and this wrought iron look is definitely, masculine.
It reminds me something always of you would see in like a wrought iron fence or like a wrought iron railing. It's very intricate, but very tough. I like that aspect of it. You can also see going along with the kind of underground casino vibe. There's very dark colors to this deck. All of the bright blues and yellows have been pulled out to kind of give it that like dank underground casino feel to it. It really sets an interesting tone through it with the gray color, the original black color even. There's so much like interesting aspects to this deck that tie in with the theme, and I love the fact that Brad does a great job with that stuff. The deck itself, very, very standardized, obviously, being a magician-oriented deck. So you have relatively standard cards, but with the nice gray accents, and then you have these 2 fun ad cards, which I always love to see from Brad. The Rules of the Fulton's Clip Joint kind of add a little bit of a fun thematic touch to it, really an added flair. And you can actually see in the spread there, that black card on top are the ad cards, which is interesting because it's the original color of the clip joint. So a nice little throwback to the first clip joint deck.
Dude, Brad almost got me. Almost got me. I opened up the box and I saw the black and I'm like, not even a recolor, dude. And then
just a new tuck.
I went past those two cards and I'm like, oh, dope. I love that gray. So you got me, dude. Good job.
Brad does a really good job with all of those little intricate details for all of his decks, whether it be the texturing on the tuck, the color, the feel of it all. I always love just the color choices and the palettes he picks for his decks because they really stick to the theme he's going for. We see it with the Halloween decks. We see it with the Ace Fulton's decks. They all just have that fun, color-oriented theme to them.
Yeah, and you know what, Tyler? You wouldn't be allowed in the clip joint because it said no greasers allowed.
You know what? I appreciate that. I'll take that as a compliment, I guess. I don't know. 1946 definition of a greaser to now may be a little different, but we'll run with it. But, Steve, what's coming in at number 2 this week, man?
Number 2 is the Lepidopterist by Out of Play. It is designed by Ethan Kowalski and Company. It is printed by USPCC on their premium crush stock. It retails for $20 and it is an unspecified print run.
Nice, man. Let's check this thing out.
The detail on this deck is gorgeous. I love it. And as you can see, it does have an incredible shimmer when you hold it in different directions of, in the light. And I have no idea what foil that is. It's not hollow foil.
Maybe like an iridescent.
Yeah, it's like an iridescent foil, but the color is connected to certain parts of the foil. It's all different colors. It's a bronze, a green,
Very
and a
cool.
pink, which is
Dude,
really
cool. I love the detail on that talk. I love how much detail goes into all these cards. Obviously, a lot of people are going to recognize this deck from the Kickstarter for the green and the maroon, which I think are great. But seeing this pink colorway, man, this thing pops.
Dude, that back design and the tuck box, when I look at it, it definitely brings me into kind of like a butterfly world, a butterfly garden or an observatory where you're going to be surrounded by a ton of butterflies. And obviously, Lepidopterist being the study of butterflies really fits.
I definitely get that vibe. It feels like you just walked into like a huge like greenhouse with just butterflies everywhere.
Yeah, and you have your matching jokers, the beautiful ace of spades. And, another thing that you will notice throughout the deck is all the aces are titled. And they are enlarged pips as well, which we both love.
Very cool.
Yeah, the core cards are pretty standard. They do have colored metallic ink. You have your green, and it's kind of like a bronze, which definitely contrast each other and look great.
Yeah, interesting little like butterflies hidden throughout the courts as well.
Yeah, I really like that. I'd like to see, different colored butterflies, but obviously sticking with the colors of the suit makes obvious sense. But that pink and that green together look really good. I enjoy how they totally took out the red standard color for the diamonds and the hearts, and they added that pink color. It contrasts really well with that first deck.
Yeah, it is a very bright pink though as well.
Yeah, it definitely is. But as you can see, the pips are totally custom. Everything in the deck is custom other than the court cards. And in Art of Play fashion, you have two ad cards here, and that is a really cool ad card, super detailed with Kowalski and company on it.
Yeah, no, they look great, man. I have to say, I really do, I enjoy the style of this deck. I enjoy the style of Ethan Kowalski's work. I think he's doing some great work already. I think everyone was really excited to see the green and the red variation that came out on his Kickstarter, but to hear that he decided to do a pink version as well with Art of Play really solidifies this whole brand of Kowalski and Co. and the Lepidopterist deck being his first release. It's a pretty solid rookie release, I'd say.
Oh my goodness, yeah, and dude, I can't wait to see more decks down the line using this iridescent type foil.
I'd actually love to see what he could do on the custom court card side as well, because I think his style really lends itself to some intricate detail that on a custom court card would just be mind-blowing. And obviously, depending on your audience, your intended purchaser, if it's magicians or collectors, those things kind of matter. But I would really love to see what Ethan could do with a fully custom court.
Yeah, good job on picking out that pink. I love it.
Steve, you ready to hear what number 1 is this week, man?
Hit me.
Coming in at number 1 this week, the Wayfarers. This deck is printed by USPCC on their premium crush stock, part of an unspecified print run. It actually comes in at the least expensive deck of the week, even though I think it might actually have the most to offer at $16.
Let's see it.
So pulling in this deck here, we can immediately see some beautiful embossing and some really vibrant foil on the tuck box. One of the things that I really like, after Joker and the Thief 5, James fell in love with the idea of embossing and foil on his tucks, and it's pretty much a guarantee on most Joker and the Thief decks going forward. But you can see what's really cool about this is depending on the angle, the foil either takes a kind of gold or a copper tone to it. And really, looking right there, it's kind of got that goldish bronze or brass look to it, and then you catch the right angle and it's just like fire red copper. This thing is absolutely gorgeous and really has this whole like travel theme to it. So you see the nowhere to go but forward and these really fun mountain scenes throughout the tuck box that carry on to the back design as well. And then also are inside the little foil work there.
Dude, and looking at the back design, I literally feel like I'm pulled into maybe like an old motorcycle gang or a fighter pilot.
Absolutely, dude. I can definitely get that vibe. Being USPCC, the deck handles and fans like a dream. Of course, the Joker threw me off there, but also one of the things that I really love about the Joker and the Thief brand is their consistency of that Joker and the Thief. Really interesting to see the unique build out for this deck. And then you have this Ace of Spades here. Absolutely gorgeous scene to it, really detailed. Oh. While the number cards and the indices themselves are custom, they're not necessarily super detailed, but there is a fun aspect to it that we can see on the aces in a bit. Then you have these really, really ornate and beautifully drawn court cards. So as I mentioned with the ace here, you see that kind of like weathered looking jagged pip. Those actually run throughout the entire deck. So while at a distance, the pips look relatively standard, they all have this kind of like travel worn feel to them, which I really love. And then you can see these court cards have a very like majestic and almost like person-like feel to it. One of the most accurate to, anatomical courts we've seen from Joker and the Thief yet, and there's actually that gorgeous metallic ink on all of the court cards, and on those foxes on the clubs, it just pops so nicely.
Dude, one of the things USPCC does so well is metallic ink.
They really do. I have to say, they're probably one of the most reliable metallic ink printers out there for playing cards, and it almost makes it so people hesitate to go for other places for metallic ink, but hopefully we see that change in the future. And then in Joker and the Thief fashion here, we also have two very vibrant contrasting color cut cards there that act as ad cards. One of the things I do love about these decks is James Millars is actually a cardist by trade. And so for him, having those cut cards adds fun little flashes of color to the deck itself as they're in motion being used for cardistry. So one of the things as you go through it is you'll notice that it really is built out as a collector's deck. There's foil, there's embossing, there's custom court cards, but you'll also notice on the back there's circular elements, there's fun little things that just really play very well while in motion if you were to use this for cardistry. And being a cardist, this deck is actually designed to be pretty much an everyday carry, as with most Joker and the Thief decks. So coming in at a $16 price point, not only is this thing beautiful and those court cards are spectacular, but it's something that you could really carry in your pocket every day, play with until it's dead, and then not feel too bad about tossing it.
Yeah, for sure.
I really love those decks, man. I'm glad to see James evolving the Joker and the Thief brand. And congratulations to this week's comment shout out, R Cards. Check out his comment down below, and make sure to leave a comment down below and let us know your favorite everyday carry. You may just win next week's comment shout out. Check out top 3. Find out.
Peace.